We are suffering from a knife crime epidemic. That's what the headlines tell us. But what do the statistics say? Offences involving a knife are at a record level in England and Wales, according to police crime data, with 40,000 recorded in the year to March 2018.
A beautiful park in East London. Now it's a murder scene. On Friday night, 17-year-old Jodie Chesney was listening to music here with some friends when she was stabbed in the back. She died in the park. 200 miles north and 24 hours later, in a quiet street in an affluent suburb of Manchester, another murder by stabbing. Yusuf Maki, also 17, wanted to be a doctor.
Two men, believed to be friends, have been stabbed to death within 24 hours of one another in Nottingham. The second man had been hosting a party in memory of the first victim when he was killed.
Tributes have been paid to a 15-year-old boy who was stabbed to death outside.
A 17-year-old died from a stab wound to the heart.
A knife or blade was used in a crime every 16 minutes.
Two teenagers have been seriously injured in a suspected stabbing in Nottingham last night.
As soon as she said his heart, I just knew I'm not going to be bringing my son home. There are huntsmen out there just wanting your blood.
Last year at one of the UK's busiest trauma centres, doctors resuscitated 28 children with serious knife wounds, 50% more than in the previous year.
The last 12 months have been the busiest 12 months we've ever seen for violence leading to trauma and certainly for knife crime. You know, nearly every day, certainly every other day, we're having someone come in who's been the victim of knife violence.
20-year-old Esram Geddy was stabbed to death on the streets of Nottingham last September.
My son is my everything for me. I miss my son. I'm crying every day, 24/7, I'm crying.
The best knife prevention technique is to run away as fast as you can.
A 15-year-old boy and a man have been taken to hospital with knife wounds after two separate stabbing incidents in Nottingham and Derbyshire. The attacks come at a time of rising knife crime in the East Midlands.
Well, tonight, the Chief Constable of Nottinghamshire Police insisted his force is doing all it can to tackle the problem. Our correspondent Peter Behan reports.
All was quiet at Springfield Park this afternoon, but on Saturday evening, this part of Sandy Acre and the town of Long Eaton in Derbyshire were the scene of violent clashes between gangs of youths. A 15-year-old boy suffered a stab wound and was taken to hospital. 24 hours later, a man suffered a stab wound after 3 vehicles were involved in a road accident in Bulwell in Nottingham. 2 people have been arrested in connection with the 2 incidents at the weekend, a 28-year-old man and a 17-year-old boy. Last year, Nottinghamshire Police recorded 757 crimes involving knives, a 31% rise on the previous year. In Derbyshire, there were 400 offences, a rise of 14%. Tonight, the Chief Constable of Nottinghamshire said, "We have the only dedicated knife crime team outside of the Met, and our targeted approach continues to see more knives taken off the streets and more offenders brought to justice."
Celebrate you, celebrate free. My dance fresh home, let's celebrate you.
Depsman was a rising rap star. The teenage grime artist from Birmingham had fans all over the country. He was murdered weeks after his 18th birthday. A row over a girl spiralled into a fight, and then his rival pulled a knife and plunged it into his heart.
With more than 20 major arteries around the body and over 100 vital nerves, there's nowhere safe to be stabbed.
The knife, we will arrest you. You will go into the criminal justice system, and that could lead to a prison sentence, or just as importantly, beyond that, it could lead to a criminal record that will stay with you for your life. Use this opportunity to dispose of that knife in the knife bins, but just as important, if you don't want to come and do that, just think, if you leave that house with the knife, then you are putting yourself in a position where you can't control the consequences. The consequences of you getting arrested, the consequences of you harming someone with that knife, and just as important, the consequences of you becoming the victim of your knife.
Carry a shank and you're gonna use it. Another young life, we're gonna lose it. When the fear takes hold and the best call your name. How long we play this game? Kids, knives, broken lives.